Alice didn't wind up in Wonderland. It was all misunderstanding. She didn't have anything to live for. For you see, everything you saw was a big fat lie, just so they can put food on the table. After all, it was good business. But what you're about to hear is one of the most shocking and terrifying truths behind Disney, or other fairy tales, of all time. You're about to hear about 7 characters from the original story, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I'll learn their true origins. Continue on at your own risk. Alice. Alice grew up with alcoholic parents who were abusive to her. That's why she cried when she didn't know what to do in situations. She grew addicted to crack cocaine during a teenage time. Hung out with her teacher in the park. She brought her cat, Dinah, with her, so she wouldn't feel alone. Her parents wouldn't keep a cat or any pet because of their abusive nature, so she hides the cat from them. When she enjoyed being in the park, her father confronted her for not coming home, which resulted in him doing sexual things and killing her by strangulation. He placed her body next to a tree and ran off. She'd gone to what is presumed to be the afterlife of other people who died. Years later, the parents were sentenced to hang for murder and domestic violence. The Mad Hatter? He wasn't called the Mad Hatter for nothing. He had a fascination with hats and tea. But before he became the Mad Hatter, he used to be a wealthy aristocrat by the name of Charles Marmaduke Festus III. Charles was going to a fancy restaurant one night, and when he got there, he was accidentally hit on the head by a falling bucket of paint. A painter tripped on his foot and almost fell off the roof. Oh, he was lucky that he didn't fall, but he accidentally dropped his bucket on Charles's skull, causing him to behave psychotically, for the impact had scrambled his brain. He was immediately taken to an insane asylum for recovery. It was no use. He cannot be cured. So they had an idea, since he was a wealthy aristocrat, why not just have him behave like one? So they devised an elaborate plan for a tea party for him. He loved it, so he formed an all-year tea party with another inmate, who he had become close friends to. He was another inmate who thought that he was a rabbit. Oh, he was later nicknamed March Hare. Well, it didn't take long for another inmate to join the insanity. He had a pet rat with him. He would normally guard the doors of the basement cells and not let any doctors pass without his permission. Charles then named him Dormouse. The doctors were happy. Charles and the other inmates were on the road to recovery, thanks to their reverse psychology. Oh, but as days went by, an accidental fire broke out in the asylum, and everyone had to evacuate, except for Charles. March Hare, as well, and Dormouse were still playing their little tea party. It didn't take long for them to accept their unfortunate fate. Years after the fire, they rebuilt the asylum, but the inmates and the doctors swore they heard voices of Charles and the other 2 inmates, still playing their little tea party in Charles's old cell, which remained a mystery. The Blue Caterpillar. The Blue Caterpillar wasn't actually a caterpillar. He was a local drug dealer who was on the run from the police. He was wanted for drug trafficking, smuggling, illegal use of PCP, attempted murder on an undercover cop. He'd get so much money that it's ridiculous. But one night he would try a new technique with a syringe, injecting colloidal silver into his bloodstream. The next morning his skin was blue. He had the urge to smoke weed and LSD. He was so high that he bounced off the walls and became erratic. But as he jumped around, he accidentally went through his apartment window and collided into the concrete sidewalk below. His death has a life lesson for all of us. Never get high on your own supply. The Red Queen? Mary the 18th February 1516 to November 17th, 1558, was the Queen of England and Ireland from July 1553 until her death. She's best known for her aggressive and bloody attempt to reverse the English Reformation, which had begun during the reign of her father, Henry VIII. Her pursuit of the restoration of Roman Catholicism in England and Ireland led to her denunciation as Bloody Mary by her Protestant opponents. Mary was the only child of Henry VIII by his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, to survive to adulthood. Her younger half-brother Edward VI, son of Henry and Jane Seymour, succeeded their father in 1547 at the age of 9. When Edward became mortally ill in 1553, he attempted to remove Mary from the line of succession because he opposed her Catholicism. On his death, leading politicians tried to proclaim Lady Jane Grey as queen. Mary assembled a force in East Anglia and deposed Jane, who was ultimately beheaded. Mary was, excluding the disputed reigns of Jane and the Empress Matilda, the first queen regnant of England. In 1554, Mary married Philip of Spain, becoming queen consort of Habsburg Spain on his accession in 1556. But she never visited Spain. During her 5-year reign, Mary had over 280 religious dissenters burned at the stake in the Marian persecutions. After Mary's death in 1558, her re-establishment of Roman Catholicism was reversed by her younger half-sister and successor, Elizabeth I, daughter of Henry and Anne Boleyn, at the beginning of the 45-year Elizabethan era. In the ritual of today, Bloody Mary allegedly appears to individuals or groups who ritualistically invoke her name in an act of cataptromancy. This is done by repeatedly chanting her name in a mirror placed in a dimly lit or candlelit room. The Bloody Mary apparition allegedly appears as a corpse, a witch, or a ghost, can be friendly or evil, and is sometimes seen covered in blood. The lore surrounding the ritual states that participants may endure the apparition screaming at them, cursing them, strangling them, stealing their soul, drinking their blood, or scratching their eyes out. The modern legend of Hanako-san in Japan strongly parallels the Bloody Mary mythology. The Walrus and the Carpenter. The Walrus and the Carpenter are brothers in a carpeting company. The Walrus, who was originally named Duke Summers, had saved enough money to make a restaurant business and bought a restaurant downtown. But what the Carpenter didn't know is that Duke would kidnap children dressed up as an anthropomorphic walrus, the mascot of the restaurant he bought, and butcher them into the food he served to the guest. When the Carpenter found a boy's severed finger in his burger, he grew absolutely furious, and the two fought in the kitchen. As the brothers attempted to kill one another, alleged gangster George Nelson raided the restaurant and riddled the brothers with bullets. They now roam the afterlife, trying to bury the hatchet. It was bound to make their last dish before they rest in peace, which was cabbages and kings. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Tweedledee and Tweedledum were Siamese twins, once conjoined by their backs before they were surgically removed. They still had fun with one another, but for a short time had to confess to the accidental murder they had caused. Oh, they'd accidentally drowned a bully from their school and never told a soul. The twins then joined the circus as freaks and performed many tricks, but they were still haunted by the slaying of their childhood tormentor. So they finally broke down and confessed to police. They were both sentenced to hang on the gallows. They still have fun in the afterlife, but are quite grieved over the loss of their innocence. The Cheshire Cat. Oh, the Cheshire Cat is not like the other ghosts in the afterlife. His job is to collect the souls of the deceased and use them whenever he pleases. He's actually a demon sent from hell to drag the other spirits there so he can torment them for all eternity. Oh, the ghosts may run and hide from him, but they're unsuccessful. This is done by either hypnosis or voice mimicry to lure the fleeing spirits to him. On multiple occasions, the demon would shapeshift into a human being to disguise himself in the mortal world. For instance, when you die, the spirits will be in hiding spots, sometimes running to a hiding spot. A spirit would sometimes gesture you to hide and stay there till it's gone. And if you don't hide in time, the demon will corner you and attack you, drag you to hell. The spirits say that the Cheshire Cat was created by the devil, forming the beast in his likeness. If it's true, then why was Alice from the game Alice Madness Returns following the cat's instructions? Kind of makes you wonder if Alice might have been a member of the occult before she was murdered. The rest of the characters in Alice in Wonderland were either angels, demons, or other entities. London became the hotspot for many stories like Spring Hill Jack, Jack the Ripper, many more. And you know, to this day, we still grow up watching Disney films and television shows. But one day, just maybe, oh, maybe even right now, as you're finishing up listening, you can never look at Alice's Adventures in Wonderland quite in the same way ever again.